God is saying to you. Stop scrolling for a single breath and picture this. You are not here by accident. Whatever led your eyes to this screen, a link clicked at midnight, a recommendation that felt oddly specific, a friend who thought of you, was not a random drift. There are invisible currents at work tugging at the small boats of our lives. And tonight, one of those currents has brought you to a precise shore. Hear this first and loudest. Forces have tried to block what is coming to you. That sentence might land heavy, even alarming, but listen to what follows. Those same forces did not win. The very fact you are reading these words is the beginning of the overturn. It is the first sign that something that was meant to be stopped is being restored. Right now in this quiet hinge of your day, God is declaring that you are in the right place at the right time. And more than that, He is intentionally with you, not as a distant idea, but as a present, steady companion who has been moving behind the scenes on your behalf. You have been carrying things that feel too heavy to name. Maybe they've been carried in your chest as a slow ache. The sting of a door closed in your face. A dream that dried up when the rent came due. The ghostly echo of relationships that never gave you what you invested. Maybe your burden is newer. A job was lost last month. A diagnosis that rewrote the map of your day. An unfair whisper that now colors how people look at you. Or perhaps the weight is not one big thing at all, but 1,000 small admonitions, micro-rejections, tiny disappointments. The way the world has a habit of not showing up when you need it most. If that's your story, receive this as your immediate reassurance. You are not carrying alone. Whatever spiritual force is intended to keep you from your blessing, doubt, fear, discouragement, other people's agendas, even your own inner critic. Those forces have been noticed and accounted for. The struggle you have endured has not been invisible to heaven. It has been seen and your striving has been recorded in a way that matters. There is an urgency to this message, but it is not a frantic shout. It is a clarifying call to trust the timing of your life. Often we measure our worth by how quickly things happen for us or by the applause we can collect along the way. A promotion, a public affirmation, a viral moment. But God whispers another metric. Timing is not proof of favor or lack of it. Timing is a contour of wisdom. The doors that open too soon can be doors that collapse. The harvest that comes before the planting is not a harvest at all. Your present moment, even if it looks like a plateau of waiting, is a space of divine calibration. Think of it as the final rehearsal before an important performance. Lights are tested, cues are memorized, the stage is cleared. You may feel pressure to prove yourself to make the world see you as worthy. Now drop that burden. The invitation is to prepare, not to perform. Do the small faithful things where you are. Tend relationships. Tidy your heart. Learn the craft quietly. When the appointed hour arrives, the very things you have built in obscurity will hold true when others falter under the spotlight. The phrase forces tried to block this from you sounds dramatic because it is. There have been resistances in your life, people who underestimated you, systems that stalled you. Inner stories that told you not enough. Some of these resistances are external. A contract that fell through. A partner who left. A gatekeeper who said no. Some are internal. A loop of self-sabotage. The haunting voice of your critic. The fear that you'll never be finished or forgiven. Here's a truth to anchor in your chest. These resistances do not define the end of your story. They are the raw material of a testimony. Imagine a sculptor at work. The chisel removes the bits that do not belong to the final form. Your hardships are not simply removals. They are the shaping of something beautiful you might never have become without them. God is attentive to that shaping. He has been rerouting every attempt to derail you into a longer, truer education for the life you are meant to steward. You are being invited to recognize the divine presence within yourself, not only as an outside visitor, but as a power that dwells in your decisions. This is not a flattering platitude. It is a practical reality. When you acknowledge God's nearness, your choices change. Suddenly, your no is not fear but discernment. Your yes is not desperation but alignment. You begin to notice an inner authority that is not rooted in needing to prove yourself to other people, but in the quiet knowledge of being beloved and appointed. That authority is transformative. It changes how you hold your schedule, how you choose partnerships, how you steward your voice. This is the place where courage forms. Not because you are naturally brave, but because your courage is born of recognition. Recognition that you are more than your circumstances and that your life is being uplifted and empowered rather than simply burdened. Stories of breakthroughs often look like lightning in a bottle when told at a distance, but from the inside they are often messy mosaics of small decisions, tiny acts of obedience, unexpected kindnesses, and unglamorous discipline. Let me tell you about a friend I once knew. Call her Mara, who embodies this quiet accumulation. For years, Mara's art studio sat in the back of a small cafe where people bought lattes, but rarely understood the painting process. She worked late, made candles to pay the rent, and said no to offers that would have compromised her vision. People around her missed the point. Why don't you just change your style to sell more? They suggested. For 5 patient years, every no was a honing. Then one evening, a curator walked in, drawn by a spilled light on a canvas. That curator saw what everyone else had missed, someone returning to form. And suddenly Mara had a show. The incomes rose, but more important was the credibility she had earned because she had refused shortcuts. The forces that tried to block her success, market noise, practical limits, discouraging voices did not win because her integrity outlived them. Your life may not mirror Mara's exactly, but the pattern is the same. Continuity of character breeds eventual elevation. Trusting the timing of your life is not a passive spiritual slogan. It is a posture that invites practical engagement. What can you do today to prepare yourself for the favor that is coming, free from the aim of proving your worth? First, live with integrity in the small things. Integrity is not glamorous, but it is magnetic. Pay your debts. Return calls. Show up on time. Keep your commitments. Tiny reputational investments compound faster than any marketing. Second, practice gratitude even when the big doors remain closed. Gratitude clears the fog of entitlement and teaches your heart to receive gracefully when a blessing arrives. Third, build a small circle of wise companions who will speak truth to you, not cheerleaders who inflate your ego, but wise ones who will correct gently and celebrate deeply. Fourth, steward your interior life, sleep enough, eat real food, move your body, and pray. These are not religious extras, but fundamental maintenance for a life that will soon do more than it has yet done. The idea that you are being uplifted and empowered rather than simply burdened is a transformational shift in how you narrate your own life. Picture a tightrope walker. The wind surges and it looks like there will be a fall. But the walker is not only focused on not falling. She trusts the harness, the crew below, and the law of physics that her balance can be restored by a small step and a small breath. When you recognize the divine presence in you, you become that harnessed walker. You will wobble, everyone does, but you will not plummet. The forces that once sought to trip you are being neutralized. The very skills you honed in the struggle, patience, creativity, resilience become the tools of your ascent. Your life becomes an argument against despair. Proof that endurance when paired with faith yields fruit. There's a spiritual etiquette to receiving this kind of season that is worth learning. First, practice humility. The moment favor arrives, pride is the most effective door the enemy will use to sneak back in. Say thank you aloud often to God and to the people who helped you, and keep your gratitude as the headline of your victories. Second, be generous. When the blessing comes, allocate a portion of it to others who are still in the crowded rooms of waiting. Generosity is not only ethically upright. It is spiritually strategic. It opens channels and honors the memory of those who supported you when you were small. Third, document your journey. Keep a journal or a voice memo of the steps that got you here. Later, these notes will not only help you remember the arc of favor, but will also serve as a manual to guide others who are behind you in the line. Expect resistance on the way up, and do not be dismayed when it arrives. Forces that attempt to block what is meant for you will sometimes double down when they see momentum. You might see people who benefited from the status quo become anxious. You might face new criticism designed to test your resolve. See these moments as the last tests, not as the final verdicts. Remember that critics often show up precisely because your potential threatens their comfort. Hold fast to your center. Keep repeating small commitments to truth. I will not slander. I will not boast. I will not abandon the small disciplines that have carried me this far. Centuries of spiritual wisdom recommend this steady covenantal arrangement with truth as the best defense against sudden storms. There is also a tender practical method for maintaining your heart as favor arrives. Ritualized pauses. Daily life moves fast, and when success arrives even faster. Create small intentional pauses to orient your soul. A morning prayer of 5 minutes. A weekly walk without your phone. A monthly meal with someone who knows your story. These pauses are not escapes. They are re-anchors. They make you less likely to be swept by the tide of public opinion and more likely to steward what comes with wisdom. They allow you to hold victory in a posture that is teachable rather than defensive, humble rather than brittle. If you feel the pull to rush forward to show everyone that you were right, that you were capable all along, pause. Resist the temptation to prove yourself in ways that are loud, immediate, or performative. True validation rarely arrives in applause or public recognition. The proof that matters, the kind that shapes legacy and character, is often quiet, measured, and private. It is in the persistence of your work, the choices you make when no one is watching, the patience with which you allow processes to unfold, and the integrity you maintain when shortcuts present themselves. There will always be voices urging for instant results, for evidence that your story has turned overnight into triumph. Ignore the lure of expedience. Real lasting success is rarely rushed. It is carefully, faithfully constructed over time, like a bridge built to withstand storms rather than a fragile arch that collapses under pressure. Understand that this season is not a conclusion. It is a threshold. The language of your past, the struggles, the doubts, the setbacks does not have to define your entire narrative. Those late nights of unseen effort, the quiet acts of discipline, the seeds tucked away in notebooks or stored in your mind are poised to become the very foundation of your next chapter. What you have cultivated in private will soon emerge in public fruit. The door you have longed for is opening, but it is not a finish line. It is an entrance into a landscape that demands ongoing attention, care, and intentionality. The real work begins after the welcome. It is the careful building of systems that last, the cultivation of sustainable habits, the mentoring of those who follow, and the thoughtful stewardship of influence entrusted to you. Now is the time to prepare yourself not just to receive blessings, but to steward them. This preparation is practical and spiritual. Organize your resources, sharpen your skills, and deepen your understanding of the responsibilities that accompany opportunity. Reflect on the values you want to uphold when your platform expands. Decide now how you will use your influence to lift others, to create spaces of fairness, growth, and encouragement. Let your preparation extend beyond personal gain. Let it become a framework for multiplying good. The seeds of patience, humility, and consistent effort that you have sown will blossom into a structure of enduring impact. Remember this: the quiet disciplines, the unseen labors, the choices to remain faithful when shortcuts tempted you, these are the invisible scaffolding of your future success. They ensure that when doors open, you do not stumble under sudden favor, but step forward with clarity, wisdom, and responsibility. Do not chase the applause. Chase the right work. Let your legacy be built on steadfastness, not urgency, and on stewardship, not impulse. In this way, the beginning you are about to enter will be richer, deeper, and more transformative than any victory achieved in haste could ever be. If you're wondering how to step intentionally into this next season of favor, there are concrete, practical actions you can take over the next 24 hours to align yourself with the momentum that is coming. Start by creating space for honest reflection. Take 10 full minutes, no distractions, no screens, and write down what you have been waiting for, what doors you long to see open, and how you may have tried to force outcomes too quickly in the past. Naming these patterns brings clarity and positions your heart to receive with patience. Next, express gratitude. Reach out to at least one person who has supported you, guided you, or simply been present through your journey and say thank you. Gratitude is not just a courtesy. It primes your heart to recognize the ways God moves and shifts your perception to notice the blessings already surrounding you. Even small acknowledgments of others create a fertile soil for favor to grow. Then intentionally design rhythms for your life that will carry you through the season ahead. Write a short list of non-negotiable practices: rest, prayer, accountability, conversations, exercise, reflection, and post it somewhere visible like your nightstand or bathroom mirror. These are the routines that protect you from being swept away by sudden opportunities and ensure that your success will be sustainable. When favor comes, you will have anchors in place to keep your integrity and focus steady. Next, declutter your focus. Identify one thing in your life that distracts or drains you. A habit, a social media app, or repetitive toxic conversation, and remove it from your immediate environment. By making room internally, you prepare your attention to fully receive what is coming. Often, blessings arrive subtly at first, and without open space in your mind and schedule, they can slip by unnoticed. Finally, seal your intention with a prayer that is short, sincere, and clear. Say aloud, "Lord, I receive your timing. I commit to steward what you give me with humility, courage, and wisdom." Prayer is the connective tissue between preparation and favor. It bridges your inner alignment with the external unfolding of opportunity. These steps are not mystical shortcuts. They are practical ways to make your heart, mind, and schedule ready to steward the blessings of this season. By taking these small but deliberate actions, you are not waiting passively. You are participating actively in the work that will allow your next chapter to flourish. I want to remind you that the divine presence at work in your life is neither fickle nor fleeting. It is patient, persistent, and intentional, moving with a rhythm that respects both timing and preparation. The obstacles and resistances you have faced are not random. They often arise because your life intersects with a spiritual significance that extends far beyond your personal comfort or immediate desires. When your path is aligned with purpose, your growth radiates outward, relationships are reshaped, communities are influenced, and unseen networks shift in ways that affect the lives of many. This is why resistance surfaces not as a punishment, but as a marker of impact, and why your eventual triumph is never meant to be solitary. You are being positioned to receive not merely for yourself but to influence, inspire, and uplift others. Imagine a river fed upstream. The waters you receive and steward now will irrigate fields you cannot yet see, nurturing hope, opportunities, and restoration downstream. Recognizing this covenantal responsibility calls for intentional stewardship from the very beginning. Every small decision, every act of integrity, every moment of patience builds the channels through which blessings will flow. As this message draws to a close, hear this pastoral encouragement with care and attention. Do not allow past pain or setbacks to harden your heart. It is natural to feel the weight of bitterness when doors are closed, when opportunities seem to vanish, or when others obstruct your progress. Yet, bitterness is a heavy and corrosive currency. It binds the soul and distorts perspective. The alternative is generosity, a radical choice to release what you cannot change and to transform past hurt into active compassion. Let the very experiences of being blocked, delayed, or misunderstood become the catalysts that shape you into someone who protects thresholds for others. When you finally receive help, let it cultivate in you the desire to give help in turn. Let the guidance, mentorship, or encouragement you receive become a model for how you extend doors of opportunity to those behind you. Remember the small hands that once reached toward you in the dark. The voices that whispered courage when hope was thin and the unseen acts of kindness that allowed you to persist. Let these memories inform your actions so that the paths you walk become safer, clearer, and more navigable for the next generation. This is how legacies are built. Not in self-exaltation, not in rushing toward personal gain, but in the deliberate, patient work of creating safety, opportunity, and encouragement for others. It is the cumulative effect of countless small intentional decisions, choosing grace over retaliation, guidance over indulgence, generosity over bitterness. And as you move forward, know that every door that opens, every blessing that arrives is not merely a reward, but an invitation to steward well, to extend influence responsibly, and to cultivate environments where others can flourish. Your life marked by persistence, integrity, and openness becomes a living testimony of how patient faith tempered by wisdom transforms personal triumph into communal blessing. Let this understanding shape not only what you receive, but how you give, ensuring that the streams you nurture now will grow into rivers that sustain generations to come. Let us take a moment now to settle our hearts and minds, bowing fully before the goodness and mercy of our Heavenly Father. Pray with me, whether aloud or silently within your heart. Holy and loving God, we come to you with hearts open to receive your guidance and your blessings. We thank you for the countless often unseen ways you have moved on our behalf. Paths cleared, obstacles removed, and doors opened that we could not have imagined. Even when we were unaware, you were working in the background, orchestrating events, aligning people, and preparing circumstances so that the future you have promised could begin to unfold. We acknowledge the forces seen and unseen that have sought to block, hinder, or delay our progress. And we claim today the victory that you have already declared over every plan that seeks to harm or mislead us. We stand confident in your sovereignty, knowing that no scheme against us can prosper when you are our shield. Lord, strengthen our hearts to trust fully in your perfect timing. Teach us patience as we await the unfolding of what you have prepared and guide our hands to steward the blessings you bring with wisdom, care, and discernment. Help us to walk humbly in this season, remaining teachable, open to correction, and ready to follow where you lead. Remove from us every trace of bitterness, resentment, or fear that might cloud our vision or harden our hearts. Fill us instead with generosity, gratitude, and the desire to lift others as we ourselves rise. Surround us, Lord, with faithful companions, mentors, and wise counsel, those who will support us in courage, guide us in clarity, and encourage us in faith. Let their presence be a reflection of your love, your wisdom, and your provision. Use our stories, Lord, as vessels of hope for those who are still waiting, still struggling, or still questioning. May our lives be living testimonies of your faithfulness, of the triumph of perseverance, and of the power of your hand working on behalf of those who trust in you. Help us to remember, Father, that this season we are leaving behind with all its trials, revelations, and victories, is not the end of the journey, but the threshold of a great beginning. May each step forward be guided by your light, marked by integrity, and imbued with your peace. May our hands serve, our words heal, and our hearts reflect your presence in every encounter. We commit this season, our future, and all that you have prepared to your loving care. May your name be glorified in all that unfolds. And may we walk confidently into the fullness of the life you have destined for us. In Jesus' holy and mighty name, we pray. Amen. If this message has touched your spirit and sparked a sense of hope within you, now is the moment to take action and align with the restoration that is already moving toward you. Type 1 receive in the comments and alongside it, share one small but meaningful step you will take today to honor and steward the favor that is on its way. It could be as simple as offering gratitude for your current blessings, reaching out to someone who needs encouragement, or dedicating a quiet moment of reflection and prayer. Every small step matters, and each action you take in faith sets the stage for greater breakthroughs to unfold. If this message has lifted your heart, consider helping us continue to spread these words of hope and encouragement. You can support us through Super Thanks with any contribution up to $20. Every gesture, no matter the size, fuels our mission to reach more people who may feel stuck, unseen, or waiting for their breakthrough. Like this video to bring hope to someone who may need it today. Share it with a friend who has been struggling, reminding them that the challenges they face do not define their future and that the forces that tried to hold them back have already been overcome. Subscribe for more messages that root faith in practical, actionable steps and steady encouragement that empowers you to move forward with confidence. Remember, your life has been seen. Your struggles have been noticed. And the lifting that has been promised is beginning now. Step into this moment with gratitude, humility, and courage. Claim the favor that is coming. Nurture it with your faith and actions, and watch as the blessings unfold before you in ways you may not even have imagined. The path ahead is brighter and you are ready to walk in it fully. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to reach 10,000 divine subscribers very soon. Please share this video to your loved ones. Type Amen to affirm.